Snipers, you have to see what's happening. The Bitcoin price this Monday is the S&P 500 just closed the lowest daily candle of all of 2022. This is an extremely important update, Snipers. Smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm if you support this content. Let's dive straight into the chart, Snipers. So looking at Bitcoin at 19,369, I do want to talk about a couple things before we get into the charts. No bear market in history has bottomed without the VIX hitting 45. What is scary about this recession is it has only hit 30 so far. Not only that, Snipers, but check out this four-dimensional revolving part. The container collapse continues with China to US West Coast about to break the $3,000 mark. It was over $20,000 a year ago. So obviously what the Feds are doing right now to combat inflation is working, as shown here by container freights coming from China to the US. But is this a good thing for the equity markets, right? Well, check this out, Snipers. Let's continue on. And the DXY, the Great British Pound, that's what we want to focus on today, because the GBP, if you haven't seen it, Forex markets acting like penny stocks right now. We saw unprecedented price action taking place across the entire Forex market. And this is all due to what's happening to the DXY. This is a historic season for currencies and markets, breaking trends that date back all the way to 1985 and onwards. Major changes are taking place right now. And this is a funny meme that I found here about the housing market right now. From 2021 to 2022, housing prices haven't declined too much, but monthly payments have increased almost 50%. And so what the Feds are doing right now is obviously affecting the global economy in different ways. And so we have to start addressing potential scenarios based on the black and white in the charts, because the charts do not lie. Regardless of the fundamentals, we know so much change is happening right now. What do the charts tell us? Well, the S&P 500 closed the lowest daily candle of 2022 today. How is Bitcoin reacting to this? Let's dive straight into the chart, Snipers. So the DXY is the main puzzle piece that has changed from our last update yesterday. We talked about this extremely important level at 114. It's not a surprise that once we hit this level today, we are now starting to see a pushback. But the fact of the matter is we spiked through this resistance level. But Snipers, this is extremely important, what I'm about to say. This could be a potential short-term top for the DXY. Why? Well, let's go back and look at this historical trend line that dates back here to 2008. So obviously the Great British Pound saw some abnormal activity. It sold off, and we haven't seen many sell-offs of that magnitude in decades for the Great British Pound. So obviously there was an inflection point over the last 24 to 48 hours. As you're watching this video, Snipers, there was an inflection point in the markets, and this coincided with the DXY tapping this multi-year resistance level. So what does resistance mean? By book definition, resistance is where you'll typically find a potential slowdown in the current trend. And so could we make the hypothesis and the prediction that there's a possibility the DXY could start to calm down here? And if we do start to see downside, that could translate into some upside for the other markets. Well, it doesn't have to happen immediately. We could still see some short-term volatility to the upside, causing markets to maybe form their new yearly lows before we see this move. But what's most important right now is that you guys stay tuned to this channel, because we have to monitor the DXY over the next few days to see what it's going to do at this multi-year resistance level. How is Bitcoin reacting to this? Well, Bitcoin hasn't formed new yearly lows just yet. Yes, it's sitting at the cusp of potentially forming new yearly lows, but Bitcoin is inside of the range here, not a coincidence, testing the previous weekly open right now, 19,417. As I record this video, Snipers, where the price is right now is always the most important price. And the price right now is at our previous weekly open. 19,417 is the most important level for Bitcoin. Hourly and 4-hour candles above 19,417 is a confirmation that we could potentially move up back towards 20,000 US dollars. That's what you have to keep in mind here for the immediate short term. 19,417 is a major resistance, the previous weekly open. Without that, without getting above that, 17,204 is on the table. We have to address both sides of the equation because of how dynamic the market is right now. And what about Ethereum? Ethereum getting above its previous weekly open right now. Not a full 4-hour candle just yet. And remember, when we do get those 4-hour candles, we want to see bullish 4-hour candles. But 1344 is significant for Ethereum. We get above that, 1440 comes right onto the table. Hourly and 4-hour candles above the previous weekly open for Ethereum at 1344 opens up the door to upside targets. And then below that, we have 1277 and 1165, as we know. But what's most important about Ethereum is Ethereum to Bitcoin chart is what we have to monitor. At the 20-week moving average right now, the most important support is 65,000 Satoshis. We have to continue to monitor that. What happened to the S&P 500, the lowest daily candle close of the year? You can see we actually didn't break into new yearly lows, but the daily candle did close lower than it ever has this year. And so does this signify that there's more downside on the table? Well, it could be, and that's why it's so important to watch the markets over the next 24 to 48 hours. Stay tuned to the Snipers channel, because the markets are dynamic and they're currently making some major moves that we do want to discuss and keep track of. Now, let's talk about some other revolving parts. The DXY making this major move, are we getting any other hints on other charts of what could be influencing the markets? Well, let's look at the international markets to start with. Japan up 0.74% after being down 2% yesterday. So we're obviously seeing the effect of the DXY hitting resistance right now and Japan being in the green. So that's a positive sign for the immediate short term. And let's actually go look at the Great British Pound really quick. We saw a massive sell-off. Could that be at least a short-term inflection point for the Great British Pound? Man, look at that. We haven't seen the Great British Pound this low since 1984. What an insane move here for the Forex market. We'll continue to keep track of the market, Snipers, but it's quite clear that we are at an inflection point right now, and things are happening that have never happened in decades. And this is happening as you're watching this video for the last 24 to 48 hours. We're all going to remember this time here on the Snipers channel. And so stay tuned for our next video. Let's see how the DXY reacts. But what's important to know right now is 19,417 is the most important resistance for Bitcoin. And in the immediate short term, if we can get hourly and 4-hour candles above 19,417, that is going to start to build up support levels for Bitcoin to start addressing upside targets. If we stay below 19,417, 17,204 is still open on the table. A dynamic market shifting almost every hour. I'll keep you guys updated, Snipers, as always, the #1 cryptocurrency channel on the internet. Thank you all for tuning into the channel today. And until next time, Snipers